Hey guys, it's Scott from fxmissions.com. Just a note, I've finished the trilogy of anthologies from the forefront, and all 3 books are currently available on Amazon.
Welcome to Foundational Missions Leadership Moment. Join your host, Scott McClelland of FX Missions, as he deep dives into the lives of leaders to glean secrets that will propel today's leaders to new heights. Here's Scott.
This is the second part of our interview with Davi Almeida. Last time we talked about being flexible and overcoming challenges. As we continue the conversation, you'll hear Davi share how walking by faith is key in walking with Christ, both in business and in ministry.
Tell us again the name, because it's Minueta, I think you're saying.
Minueto.
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 And that is...
It's an Italian word.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does it mean? I mean, what's the meaning of the word?
It's like a dance. It's how I can explain that. It's an Italian dance.
I think we have, it's a certain style of rhythm, right?
Yeah.
I think we have the English word minuet.
Maybe it is the same. I guess
that
it's the
goes
same.
with it, yeah. I know nothing about music. And if you heard me sing, you would understand. Yes. I think it's relatable, the word. So I think we mentioned this before, but you teach general music classes, not just for believers. Of course, you and your partners in that, you have a faith component to your life. And that's kind of what we want to talk into here. But you also train people just musically, right? That's your...
Brazilian music
Yeah.
and international music.
Yeah. Again, I'm not so much knowledgeable about music, but I know there's some very famous styles from Brazil.
Yeah.
There's one that comes to mind. There maybe are more, but what music is Brazil most famous for?
I believe outside Brazil is bossa nova.
Okay.
It's very typical from Brazil.
Okay.
And also samba and bossa nova.
Okay. And these styles were created here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the mixture of population and people that make up Brazil create the sound.
It's true.
That is the expression that the world knows Brazil by.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Brazil was colonized by European people.
Okay.
And they brought slaves from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So to the sugarcane plantations and also to work in the mines.
Okay.
So in Africa, they use a lot of acoustics instruments because they are very poor. So it's easier to just make instruments from wood or maybe percussion.
Yeah, right.
So here in Brazil, we have the mix of samba and bossa nova. There's a lot of percussion, the style.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Especially samba. So I believe they mix a little bit of African culture to the...
It African culture is an influence in the sound. And one thing I really noticed here, first time in Brazil, if you hear some background sounds on the recording, it's because obviously we're just here.
Oh, that's right.
Not in a studio. I want you to be able to hear the street and the sounds of Brazil. We're recording that truck that just went by. It's interesting, something I've noticed here is that a lot of different kinds of people are living together without tension between them in the way that's I've observed maybe in the U.S. or in other places, that different races of people are one group. There's a unity there, I think, that I observe to be a real cool thing, right?
Sometimes we have a little problem, people from the north to the people in the south, because there's more European people in the south. They colonize the south. And as I said, in the north, we have sugarcane plantations. So there's more people from Africa in the north.
Yeah.
In the middle, it's a mix, really.
Yeah.
We are like in the middle. Rio de Janeiro, it's like it's between Salvador, it's a big city in the north. From below, here, Rio de Janeiro, there's São Paulo, and Curitiba, Felipe's city.
Yeah. It's cool here. I notice And obviously, when you're talking about Africa and these other influences, you have a native population that was here when Europeans colonized. And of course, the African, the people here, it seems they see themselves as Brazilians. Maybe their heritage has been absorbed into something different now that people share, and it's a stronger thing that they share versus the thing that makes them different. It's interesting.
We are blended.
Yeah, blended population. Yeah. From those groups, there's a lot of mixture, an interesting and cool mixture there to me. I've observed that.
We were talking yesterday about missions.
Yeah.
How I believe God will use Brazilian people to preach the gospel in different nations, because we have that mix of identities. We have people from all over, and Brazilian people are very welcome in different countries. Sometimes the American, they are not very welcome in some countries, you know?
That's true. Thanks for welcoming me, by the way. But it is true. I understand. Yeah.
But I believe God will use us. God used already Europeans and also the Americans a lot to preach the gospel all over the world. We have a lot of people getting saved in Brazil. It's growing. Christians in Brazil is growing. Sometimes the quality of the believers is not growing as fast as the numbers.
Okay.
But we have a strong increasing of believers in Brazil. So I believe God will use us at this time to preach to the nations, as the American was used years before, and also the European.
Yeah, I'm tracking with you, and I'm excited to hear that observation. I'm studying things here and there about this, and I find it very curious, interesting. Obviously, I'm working a lot in Mexico and Latin America in general, so I'm seeing this trend that you're talking about, and to me, it's exciting. Who was it that says no student honors his teacher if he remains a student forever? So if I gave something, or if you gave something to me, if I just kept it right where it is, if I didn't grow in it, maybe in a way that exceeded the person who gave it to me, if I grow in it in a way that makes it even more than what I received in the beginning, then that honors the person who entrusted it to me. And I think it was Nietzsche who said that.
Oh, right.
Strangely enough, he's not a welcome person in that circle. He said some other things I won't repeat too, but that one is worth considering.
That's right.
Yeah. So whoever gave what to whomever, thank God we're all receiving and going to the next level and growing. Let's turn the conversation a little bit toward your business. So you're a musician. You're leading worship several times a week, or you certainly have done that. There are some teams in your situation, which I found out about. But your skill in the beginning was developed around the drums, the guitar. You, of course, sing as well. I know you didn't say that, but I happen to know it's true. So in the beginning of your business, you were primarily doing instructing, correct?
Yeah, I was teaching. I had like 15 students.
Yeah.
I was teaching. But as the business grew, I start to hire people so I can just do business and administrate the whole thing. Especially when I got the second school.
Yes.
It was hard for me to do both.
You couldn't do both. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. That makes sense. And as your business was growing there, you benefited from the fact that you already had some training in administration, right? You were you already had taken this master's. You were prepared for this. Do you think you're better at administration, or are you better at singing instruction? Yeah. Or, like musical instruction?
I like both.
You do?
Yeah, I like to do both.
Do you think is that strange? I mean, do people, usually musicians, they like administration?
No, it's not very common. Musicians, they're often a little messy. They are not very organized people. Yeah. Actually, the people who goes to classical music, sometimes they are very, it's organized.
Yeah.
They're very organized.
Strict. They're strictly organized.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But with popular music, usually they don't have that kind of perfil. the kind of.
You're looking for a word, I know, in English. Thank you for doing this.
Never mind.
Thank you for doing this interview in English, because I was not able to do it in Portuguese this time.
Yeah, I need to work on in my English, because as I told you, maybe before I left US, 2008, I spoke like 3 or 4 times with an American. So
no, your English
I had
is
just
awesome.
3 years to catch up. My English.
Words will not contain how good you're doing in English compared to the 3 words I know in Portuguese. So thank you. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, you have feelers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have thinkers, right?
Right.
And the organized person is typically the thinker, right? The person who is working through the process and how does this work? But the feeler guy, he's just feeling it, and he's just doing what he's feeling. I'm guessing, not being a musician, that most musicians are probably feelers. They're feeling something,
right,
and they're trying to release it, right? And then the thinker is, maybe there's a broad divide between those people often.
I believe this is right. I believe the key in life is you learn with the different. So if you are a feeler, you need to learn with organized people. They have skills that you don't have.
Yes.
And the opposite is the same.
Yeah.
To grow up, all of these groups, they have good things in their way of living and bad things.
Yes.
So we need to try to suppress the bad things we have.
Right.
And also learn with different people.
Yeah. Right.
Get characteristics that you don't have.
Yeah, characteristics that are foreign to you. I think that I agree what you're saying. That can also provide a challenge, right? We can see the differences in someone else in a way, especially in our insecurities, that we don't appreciate, right? I only see the differences about this person or that person in a way that I don't like.
And sometimes it takes us apart.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to go with them because this and that.
So many things come to my mind right there in my own life and in my observation of other people's lives. But we can simply say that it's important to have diversity. And sometimes that's not even at your preference, right?
Right.
Sometimes the person who helps you grow most is the one who's most different from you. That's very cool.
There's a mystery in the wedding. And when you're married, you can see that God made women very different than us.
Yeah.
So He used that so we can be sanctified. We
sanctified. Yes. Yeah. I thought you said punished. I don't know.
Maybe punished as well. No.
I didn't know. I'm joking.
I know. I got you.
I've been married a long time. Yeah. So that difference is part of the process God is using to make us more like Him, Right. Yeah. And also true in other relationships in addition to marriage. Right. We're going to break here for this week. When we return for the conclusion of our time with Davi, we'll talk about why his school isn't a Christian school and the doors that has opened for them.
Thank you for joining Scott with today's Leadership Moment. We hope you've apprehended an inspirational nugget or two that, when activated in your own life, will be imparted into those you lead. You may contact Scott at scott@fxmissions.com. Visit fxmissions.com to learn more about how you can grow your own leadership and engage in missions. Until next time, good day, everyone.